Hello, here I am. It's happy hour. Let's have some fun.
How come I can't see
So glad to have you again for Rick's Cocktails with Rick Hour. And I know that you were out there waiting because I had my wife peeking in. Michael, happy hour is your favorite hour of the day. Travis says, whoop. Bob Abernathy says hi. Nirmal in New York says, yeah, I'm on time. And Jackie Clump, I totally set an alarm. And here is Grandpa Rick, or Uncle Rick, or if you're 60, you're the same age as me. Arcel made it. Crystal Mitchell. Emmy, hello. Louisa. Tina, hi there, Tina. Justin. Bitter. Fat Mullins. Richard Lewis. Nirvana, hi. Sebastian, how are you? Jill. Jellyfish, cheers to you. Alicia. Pennsylvania, Pensionton. What's your name? Hi there, baby. And Coraline, and Darling, Fairly Fickle.
What are you drinking?
DJ. Today is just Bacardi and Coke day. Just a little basic. I thought the caffeine would be good.
Somebody said don't talk about the C word.
Don't talk about the C word, okay? We won't have to talk about that. I think we all know what the C word means.
So don't go there.
We're not. Let's talk about everything else except. That sounds good to me. It is a nice day. It's actually a little warm. Mid-80s today. And thank you, DJ. Oh, and of course it is. Yes, it's totally fine. Two parts are always good. It means we have two different podcasts to share it in. Yes, I've been raising those killer hornets for some time. The ones I have, I've bred out the stinger, and now they're harmless. Here, let me get a couple on my arm. I saw people on Twitter trying to start us all panic about these giant hornets. And if they sting you, it feels like somebody put a needle through your appendage, like a nail through your thumb. Well, take a look at what Dan Bell said about his real life experience with killer bees, Africanized bees. And they're here. They've been here for some time. And if you're in a part of the country where they're known, that's exactly it. Here's somebody saying they've been in the country since 2012. I thought they'd been tracked for a long time. You know, there's all kinds of unfortunate pests that get into our country from the insect family. And this is just another one. How do they get here? They come with the shipping. They come in the packaging. They come with associated products. Big deal. It happens, unfortunately. Japanese beetles, oh, what a pain they are. You can, watch your plants get a lot of holes, or you get some beetle traps and you hang them early in the year and you let them just fall in the bag and you throw them in the trash. They're not that expensive to get, these little things. You can buy them at your Home Depot or Lowe's. And there's homemade approaches. You can buy a bottle that's made for catching different insects, and on the label it'll tell you what recipe equals getting rid of what pest. Do you know what early American settlers used in agriculture to take care of the pests eating their crops? They would crawl on their hands and knees and pick them off manually, kill them. That was their approach. Totally organic. And what do? We have companies developing these different pesticides, and they're always safe. Always so safe. Too bad we used to have bees, but now we don't. Well, we have some, but not like we should, caused by one main class of chemicals, one brand that you might find at the store that has this chemical. It's called Roundup. Yes, Roundup. It was supposed to be the safe alternative to the poisonous chemical pesticides that, if you ever read Silent Spring by Rachel Carson, if not, that's a good read. That's an example of how bad it was, and that was not China. That was our own companies making these products and spraying them on farmland, and anybody who happened to be crop dusted in Monsanto, DuPont, 3M. So we have plenty enough actors right here in the good old US of A who've been causing trouble like that for a long, long time. So bottom line is, we're not solving anything talking about that now for sure. Drink up, everybody. Cheers to you all. Everybody here is watching. God bless us all. But right now, let's pause and enjoy our beverage. Good job, hon. Thank you. My wife created this for me. So if you didn't notice in the little obtuse reference I made, thank you, Dradion Ruby. I wish I could pronounce that properly for your donation. Rick, how are you? Me time for some age of Empire 2 on PC. Okay, it's me time for you. I'm glad you're having some. Yes, I did move to Florida, but I'm not here all 12 months of the year. AMD Radeon Ruby. Thank you. I will, all those letters all together, you know, I'm sorry I mispronounce. He ate many names, but thank you, Louisa, for coming to my rescue. But I did move to Florida and became a permanent resident in November of 2018, the first year I retired. Now, my wife didn't retire till January of 2019, and we're at my mother's home. This is my mother's place. During the rest of the year, after returning from Florida to Maryland, my mother joins us and lives in my home in Maryland. So it's a yin and yang situation. We live with her, she lives with us. So we're pretty much together all year long, except for maybe a few weeks. And I know, I still live with my mom, yep. No, actually for several decades, we were apart. But when she needed help, after my parents took care of me as a kid, when she needed help taking care of my dad, they came to live with us. So it isn't Rick in the basement getting real fat playing video games all day. It's Rick losing weight after he retired and making sure that my mom is comfortable. And at the time when my dad was not in the best of shape in his last couple of years, we helped. And the best way to help is let them come with us. They had a home in Baltimore. They could have moved in, but it was not really easy for them because the bedroom's on the second floor, the living space is on the first floor. You know, in my home, I was able to give them a bedroom on the same level as the kitchen and living room, and a front porch and a back deck. And there was no up and down steps for my dad. So that made it logical for them to be with me. And in fact, my mother is sitting right off camera here watching me speak, so I better be a very good boy today. I'm not getting away with anything. But she's joining with her own little cocktail. She loves the Manhattan, her own style of Manhattan. Are you going to come and say hello in your beautiful, watch out for your stepping over all these ropes. And here she is,
Hello.
my lovely mother, Jess. Say hi to all of you.
Hi, hi.
Hi, hi.
That's my boy.
Oh, it's my mommy. We actually get along really well. Once in a while, especially me, I'm all crotchety and crappy, but usually it's not from my mom. She is easygoing almost all the time. And I'm glad because, you know, it makes it a lot more comfortable. And people are saying hello to you and your new girlfriend, one said. She is a looker, I tell you. I don't know if you know any wealthy, maybe mid-70 healthy males. That might be what she needs to keep up with her. That live in the vicinity of either Baltimore, Maryland, or here in the Clearwater, Florida area. But, you know, she needs a live one. She can't just have some old fart. 90. Now, that's too old. If it's a 90-year-old man, most of the time, they're sitting in a wheelchair. You have to push them around. She needs somebody that has their own ability to walk and dance, etc.
And has his own money.
And has his own money and is willing to spend a lot on her. She loves jewelry. So make sure you emphasize that. Now, Lake Justine is going through a treatment, actually, for too much choking underwater vegetative grass or plants. They will be doing that shortly, so it's not that great. And I am looking at the view towards the lake. You're looking right at it, and you see no nice fountain. They turned the fountain off. We hate when they turn the fountain off. Yes, R. Kelly, I got my mojo on before I turned on the camera. So the other day I hurt myself gardening. I mentioned it during the last broadcast, and I thought, not so bad. I'll be better by Monday, I'm sure. Well, folks, I'm worse. It's not good, Laurie or Louisa. But I did have a telemed appointment with my home physician, and he asked me a series of questions. And he feels that is a muscle pull, maybe a tendon, maybe a little bit of bursitis, but he doesn't think it's a hip fracture. And he didn't feel I needed intervention to go and get orthopedic service right now. But I'm going to get evaluated when I get back home in Baltimore, Maryland, and at least get some imaging and then go get some therapy. He has given me a med pack, Medros, I think it's called, or something like that. It's a dosage of steroids to help reduce the inflammation and hopefully give me release from some of the pain. Yeah, no jumping on the bed right now. Man, I have done some crazy stuff with Dan Bell, and my body definitely is not able to do that right now. But I hope I can get back into form, not too long. Maybe I'll have to start thinking about using a supportive back brace under my shirt, and I'll wear like a Hawaiian shirt or something instead of a t-shirt to hide it. And then when I get hot and sweaty, you know what happens to the shirt. Yes, it comes off. And sometimes the shorts even. But never the underwear or the boxer briefs. I'm not going X-rated here. Plus, you'd really be amazed by the fact that there's nothing you can see if I was naked. And I don't want to let that be known that I have the smallest member in the world. But it was all the cause of a prostatectomy, the removal of my prostate, due to precancer presence. And I didn't want to have it spread because then you can see it go into your colon, and then next thing you know, you have a colostomy bag instead of the ability to do your own thing. And that's worse than not having a prostate. Plus, death isn't very good. So I had it removed, but as a side effect, and you would know this if you ever have to go through this as a man, they tell you to expect, unfortunately, permanent shrinkage. Now, it's not gone. It can come back at times when it's necessary. You just don't look ornamental anymore, like when you were at the gym and you would slap wet towels at your fellow friend's butt in the locker for the football team, etc. And my some of my friends in the football team were, more well endowed than others. And of course, that was us, the Caucasians. And then the other mixed races seem to have more going on down there. I think it's just a myth, but I'll let you all have your own opinions on that. And I'm not talking about C, I'm talking about P, as in penis. Let's move on. Well, they asked me not to talk about a virus, so I talked about something else. That's exactly right, Michael. It's not the size, it's the knowledge. Because if you don't know what you're doing, even if you're hung like a horse, that isn't really going to help much. So, what else do I have going on here? Chicka Bow Wow. Just saying Caveman Rick from the Jungle Room is one of my personal favorite transformations. Thank you. Yes, that was fun. Dan really didn't like that I kept trying to stay in character at different times. But I mean, I wasn't going to stop. It was great. And drinking some Mai Tais. Do you remember when Brennan's making up our Mai Tai, and he's got it all ready to shake. Let's shake it up. And he doesn't hold the top. And next thing you know, it's all over the floor and over in the room, on the wall. I cried over such a loss of good booze. So Dan and I recorded another podcast last night. We'll do another one this week, tentatively tomorrow night. Thursday, I fly back to Maryland. I'll be home by late afternoon, early evening, Eastern Daylight Time. And as I promised the last broadcast, these will not end. They will just resume with a different setting in the background. I'll broadcast from Baltimore, Maryland, and keep the cocktail hour going. So I hope you like the change of scenery. The climate will be different. Some broadcasts, depending on the day, I might actually have to wear a long sleeve t-shirt or a light jacket. The pool is fine. The pool is still very good. Unfortunately, as my body is not fine. I can't even go up and down the ladder to get in it. So more cocktails. I know you did. So my wife just got back walking my beautiful dog Bo. He did number 2. She put it in a bag that has a deodorant built into it. Then she threw it over the fence at me. I want you to see how close it came. See it right there? Where is it? Yep, right there. She keeps trying to hit me with the dog poop. She says she could hit me if she wanted to. But she really, she throws like a girl. That's the truth. Sorry, she throws like a girl. I know there are girls who can throw like boys, but she's a girl who throws like a girl. She's going to hit me. So I have something new in my life. Isn't it beautiful? It's my mother's cane that she used for her knee replacement surgeries. And luckily, I was able to extend it so that I can use it. So now, I have a cane. It holds my head up. It's really good. It's a chin rest. Yes, it is. I should have a trapeze over me holding my head still. So I can, and a motor that can turn my head. That would be good. So hello from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Be careful, Rick. Yes, I will. I'm being careful. I already injured myself. Bigfoot stuff. Oh, well.
Angle the phone down just
When I go back to Maryland, and after I quarantine for 2 weeks, then Dan will be willing to go out with me again. He fears that I might bring disease to him for some reason. I don't know. I've been wearing a prophylactic, so I don't know how he thinks he's going to get a disease when I have sex with him. Because although Dan says he's a top, when I'm around, he's a bottom. I already told him. So my mother is just out of earshot talking to another lady who lives here in this little community. So when she comes back, I'm going to have to be less racy. But since she's away and she's otherwise occupied, I'm getting away with a little bit right now. So if you all could think of Brennan and send him a little thought of prayer. Poor Brennan has a head cold. Nothing worse, thankfully, but he has a bad head cold and the poor baby doesn't feel good. So please help Brennan by sending some good karma or prayers. The poor little boy. I wish I could just rub his little head and tell him it'll be okay, but I'm not around. Thank you. The garden behind me is exactly where I hurt my back. Isn't that nice? Yes. The area from right there at the edge of your screen left, my screen right, all the way over to the end of that greeny stuff. That's all called red canna, C-A-N-A. It's a tropical plant. It's easy to grow, and it's hard to destroy and kill. And it also is nice that it attracts hummingbirds. So if there is any way that you get hummingbirds in your area, those are the things to put in there, along with butterfly bush. That's another good shrub slash plant. Yes, butterflies, we have some. I've seen mainly a yellow butterfly, a little bit of a couple monarchs. There isn't a whole bunch of butterflies here in Florida. Back in Maryland, we have a whole variety of different butterflies. Last year, you saw one, Jack? Well, yeah. I just saw one the other day, 2 days ago. And you'll get butterfly or hummingbirds, Crystal, that's nice. We put the barbed wire up after the fence was repaired. Believe it or not, there's some people who try to break into this community. There's an open front gate. There's no gate. You can walk right in off the sidewalk. So why do you have to jump over a fence in the back? Well, people aren't real swift around here, I guess. So they bent up the top of the fence, and after we reported the damage, since it's right here, we see it, they, at the beginning of the fall, had a company come and repair the fence, and they added the extra barbed wire, so it looks more like Stalag 13. I don't know why they like that look, but so we trap our 55 and older community in this park so they can't escape, just in case they might wander off, they're stuck in the fence, because just like the rest of the people who can't get in here, they don't think to go out the front. They just keep going to the back and they walk up against the wall. It's like a robot that you put in the yard or on the floor in your living room, and then you move it and it goes around and it comes back to the wall and it does it again. It's like that kind of a thing. A dead hummingbird, oh, in your freezer? What are you gonna, like, boil some water and make hummingbird tea or something? I mean, were you waiting for a decent time to have a burial? The yard was frozen because you have permafrost, you live up in the Arctic? Hello from the Bronx, Brian, how are you? Thank you for joining. So we have Arsel from the other side of the pond. In the Netherlands, I think. Am I being wrong, Arsel? Is that a fair description of your country, the Netherlands, Denmark? Somebody else said, in the freezer? You know what I keep getting? I keep getting little drops of water. And I know it's not poop. It's not bird poop. It's happening several times. But it's a clear sky. It's crazy. Holland. Thank you, Arsel. So we have Holland in the house, and we have different United States folk all through the place. Do I have anybody from Europe or Australia, New Zealand, South America? We've had people here from Chile. Anyone? Well, the back is, well, it's really Pennsylvania, Canada. Well, at least you're outside of the United States. Queens, yes, that's another country, right? Yeah, it's not water. There's a guy in the tree and he's peeing on me. Just like the song by Peter Gabriel. You know what I mean? Games Without Frontiers, you know that song? Standing in trees and pissing on the goons in the jungle. Manchester, England in the house. Hello, Doodlebug. I love Peter Gabriel. Love Genesis. I even like the later Genesis, but I prefer the early Genesis up through the time when Peter left, and then a couple albums longer, pretty much up to Duke. The Duke album and before, I still was really 100% with Genesis. But then when they started doing We Can't Dance and all those kind of albums, you know, you had one or two decent songs and all the rest of it is kind of pop rock for me. And after being used to Trespass and all the early stuff and Selling England by the Pound and The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, you know. Yes is another. I mean, these were my favorite progressive art rock bands that I ever, you know, had heard at the time when I was 16. And they still are among the best I ever became aware of. There's a lot of great progressive rock that came from Italy and France and Germany and Sweden, Holland, Denmark, England, of course, and even Ireland and Scotland. A lot of United States talent, a lot of South American talent, Japanese bands. I mean, great when people were able to just create music that they wanted to create, and there was enough of an audience out there to support them. Yeah, and Bollywood, I know Bollywood sound. Yeah, I like it. I can't say I'm a big movie goer of that style. King Crimson is another one of the essential, and Magma as well. I mean, you know, those are the guys, and Camel, and Caravan, and any of the Canterbury bands. Rick M., thank you so much. Thank you for all the hard work with Dan and the gang, and thank you for that contribution, Rick M. Yes, well, it's hard work, but you know, we all have fun and we love doing it. So, because of all that, it really doesn't seem so hard. But in reality, anybody else who wouldn't be prepared for what we put ourselves through, it would take time. Talking Heads, oh, of course. David Byrne, tremendous. And of course, Brian Eno, who helped David Byrne with producing in some of his works.
Were you with Dan in New Orleans?
I was with Dan in New Orleans. I'm going to be putting out a short little behind the scenes video. And Dan is hopefully going to have, he hopes even this weekend, I don't know, because he did put out another video that he had in the hopper that he wanted to get out about college called Sojourner Douglas that he got into the building last winter, and he wanted to put that out by popular demand as well. But I have to say I'm getting a little bit tired of waiting for him to release these last 4 Another Dirty Room episodes. When I get back to Maryland and then I have 2 weeks that I can get into his condo, I'll choke out his chicken if he hasn't put one out by then, okay? I'll take care of things. He'll put one out soon after that. I will make the fat man sing. Because this is enough. What else?
The movie he made with those 2 people from the hotel in Florida a couple of years ago, is that on Patreon? Somebody just asked about it.
I don't know. Tell me. That is going to be exclusively Margie,
Yeah.
the documentary. Yes. He had things he wanted to do with it after the fact, Margie and Scott, but he is going to put that out first on Patreon exclusively, and then he'll put it out on YouTube for a wider, audience. But he wants to give the Patreon people some extras, and that's why we're encouraging people to consider, please, go to patreon.com, consider giving us a $5 a month donation, and access all this stuff. We're trying to really stuff it in there. We're doing the podcasts more than we ever did in the past, 2 or 3 a week. And I think that if you would go and try and give us a shot, you can cancel any time. It's not like you're locked into a contract. You'll find that what you're doing is you're supporting a great artist who has a lot to share.
Kendra keeps asking how you met Dan.
All right. Do they accept euros? I don't know. And that's one thing that Dan doesn't have any control over is Patreon, the operation. You did, Michael. Thank you. Michael became a Patreon or a patron last week. But I know if you would contact Patreon directly, they do respond with information requests and questions. So go on the website, patreon.com, and find out if they can take the currency that you have available to spend. I hope they would give us a conversion and let us know what it is. Is it 5 euros? Is it 6 euros? Whatever it is. I mean, a euro has got some pretty good value. I'm not sure of the exact exchange, but...
Somebody just said it was well worth the money. Sean
And
or
thank you, Sean, for the opinion there. Well worth the money, I'm told.
so did Bill weigh in?
Thank you, Bill, for kudos. And man, you saw the concert with David Byrne? Oh my gosh. You're lucky. Good for you.
Lookback Jenny says it
I would have loved to have been up there, but you know, it was also playing this winter, and here we are in Florida, and then we have all this hit with the problems we have today, and I don't even know if there's any shows being played, obviously, under this. Thank you, DJ, again. How did you know about this, DJ? God, am I copying you on my email now? No, but, you know, if they charge me twice, then Dan will send me money to pay him twice, whatever. So it'll be the circle of money. So whatever. He said, don't worry about it, I'll pay you. So if I ask him for 5 and he sends me 100, that's a pretty good deal for Rick, right? So you think I'm going to be stupid? Dan, they keep charging me. I need another 5. Here comes, what does he send it to us by? Some kind of money thing. And he sends me the money. And then I take the other $95 and I buy clean underwear. Of course, with the quality and the size I have, I need, you know, these are like $40 a pair, minimum, on sale. Because they're nylon. I mean, they're silk underwear. Because I'm so special. Silk depends, yes. Biodegradable, because they're made out of natural materials. Thank you, Michael, for being so funny. I appreciate that. You should join my show. We should have the 2 of us here. You're so good. All right. Granny panties. Beg your pardon? I'm not really Sandy Gay. I just portrayed her for 15 minutes on a video. Wait till you hear me on an episode coming up from the Love Liquor Lies fake television series, where you see me come in cross-dressed. Yes, Rick cross-dressed with makeup on. Oh, you see what we're bringing to you guys. Such wonders, such gems. Just wait. And if you've seen the first couple, you notice there's some kind of a growth on my face. By the last episode, it's like this long. Every episode, we made it bigger and bigger. Oh, it was so much fun. Dad loved making up the appliances and doing the makeup and doing the hair. He felt like it was Hollywood back then in 2010 or 2011, whatever it was. All right, wait. All right. And remember, hit the like button if you like this. If you really like it and you're flush with cash, you can donate right now as much as you'd like. Thousands, millions. Please. I'll have a statue erected in your honor in my backyard. In fact, I'll make it a fountain. And then I'll put live streams out of it overnight, every night, so you can enjoy this beautiful work of art that I'll have created in my backyard. That's a special level. I call that the $1 million special level for sponsoring Rick Serra. I'm still waiting for my first member at that level. I think I'm going to wait till I'm in the ground, but I'm going to keep waiting. You never know, because otherwise I'll never see that kind of money.
Well, your mother just won $2 million.
Oh, the fake Publishers Clearinghouse letters are going out again, folks. So make sure if you have older family members, they don't call and give them their bank account number so that they can rob you blind. Oh! Oh, thank you, Long Duck Dong. I thought you said something else, but I got a super cocktail for all femmes. Oh, yeah. All right, so please look up Long. You see him there. He's a dashing fellow, and apparently he has love to spare. So maybe you can make a love connection here, chatting back and forth, and share your personal information. Make sure you send me your Social Security number, your bank number, your routing number, and the PIN. Direct deposit, yes. That's what we used to call it before there was artificial insemination. We called it direct deposit. Even my mother groaned on that joke. Popped open another beer, good. So somebody said, do I like craft beer? Is the sky blue? Yes, of course. There's pretty much not an alcoholic beverage that I don't like. There are some exceptions, but I do like many, many different kinds. One would be Jägermeister, or Jägermeister. I can't even say it right. Jägermeister. If I want licorice, I'll buy it and I'll chew on it. And then I'll take a shot of some good bourbon or something. Hard cider, I've had a couple different. I liked a couple. I forget the one I didn't like so much. Single malt whiskey, if I'm going to eat, or scotch. Is that what you mean? Single malt scotch whiskey? If I'm having a single malt, I have to kind of adjust my palate to that extremely peaty flavor. Peppermint schnapps, Rumpelmans. Rumpelmans is the best for me. And yes, I like that. Another I used to like that I can't find anymore, Jeremiah weed used to have a sweet whiskey liqueur. That was always good. I used to have that during the winter time. Heineken's always okay. It's smooth. It's not the best. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feeling, but it's fine. Idiocracy? Really? Where would I watch Idiocracy, Stephanie? Is it on Amazon Prime or Netflix by chance? I've had Meisterbrow. That's good. Goldschlager, I've had that. It's good enough too. Everclear. I went to college at the University of Maryland, where there's like 60,000 students. And so I've already known what Everclear was back in the 70s. what you would do is it's still ethyl alcohol. It's not methanol. It's not isopropyl alcohol. So you would get a trash can and put a clean trash bag inside, a liner, and then you would fill it with whatever kind of junky soda or juices, whatever, and then you'd put in a couple bottles of Everclear. And then you knew what it felt like to drink and not realize you were getting drunk. Because when that stuff hits you, you better be somewhere when you fall down it doesn't hurt. Amazon Prime, I'm a member on that. Thank you. Write down Idiocracy as something for us to watch, hon. Idiocracy. Like idiot, crassy.
What do you think I am, an idiot?
Why is it scary to watch Idiocracy? It's not just a comedy. What am I supposed to expect here? Ooh. It's a scary movie? Is it? 140 is 70%. So that's pretty good stuff. Oh, you agree, Plumall? Yes. Daggone right. I mean, you can get the Kuiper or whatever the other cheap brand is, and it's just sugary. This is peppermint flavor, very strong. You take a sip, and it's warm all the way into your belly. That's real booze.
Sounds like Southern Comfort.
Yeah, Southern Comfort's another one, but I like Jeremiah weed better than Southern Comfort. I mean, the Jeremiah weed was so sticky, the bottle was sticky when you bought one. Is there anybody else beside me that ever had Jeremiah weed whiskey liqueur? Scope, I had that too. But I didn't try to drink it. Knob Creek. Now you're getting out of my price range, but yes. Yeah, it's called Jeremiah weed, but it's not weed. It is actually a whiskey liqueur. Whiskey liqueur. Are you comfortably numb? Yes, I know that song very well. I love my Pink Floyd, another band I've always loved. Tangerine Dream. I also love like Hearts of Space or Echoes on public radio. Those programs exposed a lot of good electronic music and even world music, if you knew what that was called back from the 80s. All right. It sounds like we've settled on talking about drinking. Yes, it does. Sounds like it. I'm not drunk. I'm just drinking. You ever heard that song? Tiny Desk, the NPR series. Oh, yeah. A lot of great music came out of that. I remember when it first started. And
How do I get my keyboard back to English? It's a different language.
I don't know. How do you change the keyboard from a foreign language back to English on the Samsung Galaxy?
Hit the right strings.
Hello, Kestrel, Alex, G. Wincy, Nicole, Emily Church, booze made from sorghum. Warms you right up. Toxic Sunshine, hello. Hey, Arnold Ziffel's back. Eat gallons of dip and big bags of chips. Yes, Arnold, I know you do that.
Somebody asked about vodka. I was going to tell them about Deep Eddy, but it comes out of foreign language.
Deep Eddies is distilled in the same town as a more expensive Tito's. Now, Tito's is distilled 6 times, 5, but Deep Eddies is distilled 10. And Deep Eddies is less expensive by a few dollars.
Both made in Austin.
And they're both from Austin, Texas.
Probably the same distillery.
I'm guessing it could be the same building. It's like Kia and Hyundai. No, don't mean they're the same. Yes, Kia and Hyundai came out of the same manufacturing plant in South Korea. You're kidding. I'm not, I'm serious.
Nothing in there.
Russian standard vodka? No. I've had Lusasawa. I like that. It's made from potatoes. I love that. It's especially good for a dirty martini. Yes, that's a nice. It's got a little bit of a sweet taste to it.
Good for high blood pressure.
When we can go anywhere, I would love to travel around a lot, but we got to get released. And I was trying to sell my camper. I have a beautiful camper. It's just too large to pull down the road for thousands of miles because of the enormous gas consumption to pull it. But I have a 29-foot ultralight travel trailer with all the deluxe features. We got it at the end of the year 2016, so we used it 2017, 18, and 19. And it's got everything you would want, really does. It's got entertainment system, it's got outdoor grill, outdoor shower, it has capability for you to use a solar collector charger to condition the battery without having to plug it into your house, so you can leave it on all year and keep the battery charged and maintained. It's got front hydraulic jack with a light on it, and then extra lights that you can turn on the front to help guide you when you're hooking up to it in the evening. So you got that built in. I upgraded the antenna to a digital antenna. So it's got a pyramid base now instead of an analog.
You want a fresh one?
No, still good. So we've had it on the market since February, and something happened, and I haven't gotten any offers. I can't imagine what it could have been. So hopefully when that thing I don't want to talk about tonight by request is cleared up enough, maybe I can find somebody to sell it to, because we want to downsize to more like a 22-footer and be able to pull it across the country and not have it large of an expense. And it could be my mother in it. Also, it could be my mother flying into a destination so she can let us put up with the hard work of getting there. And then she just arrives and the red carpet rolled out and she just walks up and joins us at Yellowstone or Grand Canyon or wherever it is we go. But yes, Bill, that was Garbage Punch I was talking about with the trash can liner and the Everclear and or just regular old non-labeled moonshine from somebody who could get some. Crystal, That's fine, right? We could hang. I, I could do both, and we could both do that together, and have a nice night getting together and meeting each other. And so maybe you can make a meet up with Rick, because I am thinking seriously, if this situation allows, I'd like to have a meet with Rick in Maryland, something I have never done. And maybe if Danny is in town, see if Danny would do it with me, and maybe even Brendan if he's around, or Jake, or Coach Cheese. That'd be all fun for all of us to get together and try to find a good place that we could be welcomed and we could have a nice meet and greet. So if that happens, I certainly will let people know. I'll put a notice up on my channel, and I'll give you a short video and summarize the whole thing, and we'll see what goes from there. But things have to change in a positive direction for us to be able to do that right now, and you know that. But I'm hopeful. There are positive indications, and I'm hoping that those all pan out. So let's, it's relatively still a short period of time we've been in this mess, but let's hope we can get out of it in not too long in the future. You want me to do a Native American dance and try to get rain? I could probably get that to work. I would just have Dolline turn the hose on off camera. That's nice and cold. And you all would be mystified with the mist coming down. That would be so great. We have to be patient. All right, I'm not going to talk about a lot, but I just want to say the part we can play is cooperate with recommendations. If we don't, we're just going to keep it going longer. So we cooperate. The health guidelines that have been given to us, and there's a good chance that this will slow down a lot, and then we can have the medical systems and the governments work to keep it in control. That's what we need. So I know there's a lot of people who feel very frustrated and even are protesting about this in the country. And look, everybody has a right to protest. That's something that we have as a freedom in this country. And I applaud everyone's effort to do that. Just do it peacefully and responsibly. Responsibly. That means follow the recommendations. You can still assemble, just be responsible and smart. That's it. So, and in time, it'll all work out, and there won't be that kind of a need because things will open back up. We're in Florida, we're watching some early steps, baby steps towards that. But if you live in an area of the world where that things haven't gotten under somewhat control, then you can't right now. But you will shortly if you just do what I suggested. Thank you, Wayne. Yeah, I got actually $1 million from Patreon with a long apology letter. And they actually want me to be the CEO. So when I go back to Maryland, they're going to fly me to their headquarters, and I'm going to meet with the main people, the stockholders and all, and you know them. I'm total BS, right? Okay. As long as you know that, just enjoy my games. I like to go cray-cray. All right, what else is going on? I need to thank, I think it was DJ again, for another donation. I would love to go on a ghost hunt with you and Dan and Cochise at Fort Mifflin or Eastern State Penitentiary. You know, it would be great if we could do something like that. Even offer it as some kind of an opportunity for fans and some kind of a reasonable package deal. Get yourself there, get your own accommodations, and we don't get gouged. Because you know they gouge you at these almost attractions that are supposed to be haunted. Now Fort Mifflin's a little different. They're not quite as over the top. That's a much smaller place to go to, but obviously Dan's had some good experience there. And Waverly Hills in Louisville, Kentucky, any of them. You know, the Mackey, you know, the club at Mackey's, whatever, you know, that Paranormal Falls just had an episode about going there. When you go to these places, you know, it's like, okay, it's only 125 a person, and you can have up to 20 people. And what kind of experience do you want, folks? You know what happens when you have more than like a dozen or 10 people. You're not hearing anything. You're hearing somebody upstairs, down the hall. There's no ability for you to really experience anything without all this interference. Unfortunately, that's it. You can't do that. You need small groups of people. So, but it'd be fun if we could do something like that in smaller groups and maybe have multiple opportunities so different people can go. And I don't think everybody would be able to by the expense of the travel, etc. But those who would like to, try to give as many people a chance to be able to do that with us. That would be really fun. Got to go to dinner, eccentric naturalist. Thank you for joining. Hi, hey, wonders. Oh, you saw the outside of the building at Eastern. Still pretty freaky place to look at, even just from the outside.
It's been an hour.
Been an hour, we're at 62. I've been to Maine one time. My wife and I went up the coast, ended up at Acadia National Park. Early 90s. And then we went, when that island, we went to Bahaba. Had lovely food up there. Of course, lobster. But they had something they called a seafood sauce, which had a little bits of this and everything, and that would be over top of the lobster tail. And right, hon? I would be loving having another one of those. We also stayed at Kennebunkport, and we were at
We were right on the coast.
at that preserve, which I think was dedicated to Rachel Carson, the wildlife.
Yeah, we did go.
We went to that too, yeah.
We went to a lobster pound.
Went to Lobster Pounds, yep. And you go buy the lobster from a tank. They weigh it up by the pound, then they steam it for you, and you wait and you take it home. Usually you don't eat them there. Yes, near the not far from the Bush compound. Yep, on the coast of Maine, the Atlantic coast of Maine. Very pretty area down there. Definitely is, or up there. Katie, thank you. If I ever thought of writing a book. I guess by my response, you can probably guess no. It's intriguing. Maybe if I read more books, I'd actually have an interest in writing a book. I'm horrible about novels. I love to read about technical and scientific and other things like that, but usually it's articles, periodicals. But novels, I hardly ever read one. My mother, my wife, they are voracious readers. They're always reading one. My wife pretty much her Kindle. My mother, she likes the old holding the paper, and putting in the bookmark, and
I never use bookmarks.
they run through them. They love reading. But thank you for asking. It's nice of you to say that. You must think I actually would have something that would be worth reading. Maybe I could get someone to help me and put like a biography together. Oh, you missed Dan's live the other, what was it, last night, night before? Yeah, he had a good thing going on.
Not last night, but the night.
Night before.
Pickle and an onion came knocking at the door.
Started at midnight, I believe. And my wife and I watched it for about a half an hour or so. Yeah, Dan loves doing those regardless if it's on YouTube. He does a lot on Twitter. He goes to Instagram and does lives. I think he does them on Facebook as well. And especially now, he committed that he thought that he wanted to do this while people are sheltering at home. He wanted to reach out and be there. It's 1 a.m. there, Brian. Well, thank you for staying up. I hope that you will be able to get up to go to school tomorrow. What about audio, Jill? Can you hear me? Is my audio bad? What's going on? Oh, I should audition for audiobooks. Ah, yes, I think I've proven my ability to recite literature during the podcasts.
Hard literature.
Such high literature. Rick's erotica has really polished me, and now I am ready to do audiobook. Of course, all the audiobooks will have to be smut at first, but then slowly I'll actually, oh, Justin, he let the bonobo out of the bag. Bonobo monkeys are such loving creatures, aren't they? That's what Jane thought. The one thing I just didn't understand about that story, and Dan and I talked about this, why wasn't one of the bonobos named Tarzan? That's what the author should have done. You know, that really would have just been so good together. That would have really brought it home. I do make it sound hilarious because, I mean, I couldn't read it otherwise. The sad thing is, people write those things for others to read that are actually thinking it's going to arouse somebody into an amorous or sexual manner. To me, it's just disgusting. But if I can add strange voices and accents and throw in my little thises and that's and little asides, you know, I can make it work. I can get through it. I remember when I first started to do them, it was like the one time Brendan Evangelista tried to do Rick's Evangelista, Brendan doing Rick's erotica. Yeah, he didn't do a very good job. He was so stiff, uncomfortable. He just wasn't into it, and you could tell. What is my favo book? Chemistry 2. Inorganic chemistry. I love doing equations and balancing and seeing if it's an endo or exothermic reaction and find out how many calories are outputted or absorbed. Yes, chemistry 2. Jack? Well, thank you. That's really a revealing thing to say. And I know that makes things quite different in your life. And I have a number of friends who have children that are touched. And one thing, every child I've ever met, now an adult, is always very, very highly intelligent and bright. Well, folks, I just got the indicator light saying the battery is low.
You better get off quick.
When the battery's low, I gotta go. So I'm gonna have to say au revoir. But thank you so much for being with me today. I will try to do one more before I leave. And if I do, I will give you a promo on YouTube to alert you all. But for now, I say goodbye, good night, have a nice rest of your week. God bless, stay safe. And thank you again for joining. And thank you again to all who contributed. I really appreciate that. It's totally not necessary, but I do appreciate it very much. Thank you again. Until next time, good night, everybody.